In this video, I want to talk about just some great stories of people that are doing great work. If you want to know what volunteers are doing in Ukraine and hear firsthand from them, so Fred Stamps and we've talked about this before. We've had a video. He's a professor at Pacific University, and we've done a collaboration before. And then he and I were talking behind the scenes of like, how do we get spotlight other people that are doing great work? So Fred's going to kind of run this, and he's connected us with the volunteers that you're about to see here. So Fred, thank you for being willing to do this and all the legwork behind the scenes. This took like a month to coordinate.
Thank you, Professor Gerdes. So, yes, hello, everyone. My name is Frederick Stamps, and I'm just a professor trying to help people, innocent civilians in Ukraine whose lives have been turned upside down by the war in Ukraine. And the last 3 summers, I have gone over to Ukraine to deliver humanitarian aid, and I've met so many wonderful volunteers along the way. And I actually have been able to get some of them to join Professor Gerdes and me here today. So right now it's just past 8 a.m. here on the West Coast, 11 a.m. on the East Coast, and it's just past 6 p.m. in Ukraine. Of course, we're going to wait at least a day before we post this video on the internet. But I want to go ahead and give the time over to some volunteers on the ground in Ukraine that I have served with, and then also a volunteer who's about to go over to Ukraine here in the coming days, and let them tell us about what service they are providing, what humanitarian aid they are delivering.
All right. I'm Win Packer.
I'm Mindie Packer.
Boyd Byelich.
And we have met up. We met up a couple of months into the full-scale war in Poland, assisting with refugee centers. We came over, both of us or all of us, without any organization or without any official title or plan or agenda, and just came to help and then start finding needs. So Minnie and I have started a small nonprofit that we call Hope Across Borders. And Boyd.
Yep, and I'm from Northern Michigan, and I started one called One Box. And basically it was a way, in my case, to connect local people in rural communities in Michigan who could afford to send maybe a box of aid over to Ukraine, and to just, kind of be the middleman to connect the dots for them.
It's awesome.
And then Mindy and I we went over to initially help with the refugee crisis of all the people flooding out of Ukraine. And so we started in Poland, and then since then have gone from helping primarily refugees to trying to help internally displaced people. So if you hear the term IDP, that's typically describing people who fled from one part of Ukraine to a less dangerous part of Ukraine, or helping people who've stayed back in their cities and villages, but they've been adversely affected. Maybe they've lost loved ones. Maybe they've lost, maybe they've lost employment. Maybe they've lost homes, or maybe they've tried to stay and they're just trying to live through loss of power and disruption and loss of sleep and all the things that come with war. So that's kind of the quick, brief introduction of who the three of us are.
So tell us what you do and what you've seen on the ground, or what you want the audience to walk away with.
So you go, man.
Okay, so it's a lot different now than it was in the beginning. In the beginning, in 2022, when the war first began, it was a lot of mothers and children fleeing Ukraine to get to somewhere safe. So most of the time, well, when we were helping, it was in Poland. Now it seems like a lot of people have come back to Ukraine. So we have changed our focus and are now helping in Ukraine. And so we are just helping, like Wynn said, IDPs by providing aid such as clothing, back to school supplies, food, laundry detergent, diapers, formula,
hygiene products,
things that really aren't going to change a life, but that are going to help make a life a little bit better.
Okay.
And then Boyd.
Yeah, I mean, same with me. Started in coming to Poland the first couple times. I think now this is my 21st trip into Ukraine since the war started. Sometimes it's kind of cool. We work together like we are this week. Last week, I was actually with other people in Izium and Kramatorsk and Sloviansk, just a few miles from the Russian lines, which is a whole different experience. And so I've tended to do a lot of different things in different places. It just sort of depends on the opportunity that presents itself.
What how has it shifted for you when you're closer to the front? Like what kind of
Oh,
precautions
so
or
I,
what?
Initially, same thing. We came in just a little bit into Western Ukraine, went to refugee centers, helping people. And then from there, as we met and made more contacts around the country, just started going deeper and deeper, and to the point of going literally almost to the zero line on several occasions, and enduring things for a few days that people who are there endure every day, from small
Mhm.
FPV drones dropping grenades, trying to hit us with grenades. So I mean, if you kind of we've gotten a sample of everything.
What kind of background did you have that you showed up in Ukraine or showed up in Poland initially to help? What did you think you were bringing to the table?
Just the ambition and the desire to help people. It's like there's an old saying that evil will prevail when good men do nothing. And just I think we all are united under that kind of a umbrella of saying, hey, we know we can make a difference. Now we know people everywhere. We know how to make a difference. And that's what we're doing here now, is making a difference
I
as
guess
best we can.
as far as a quick background for us, a little bit different. I went on a mission for my church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Russia in the 90s. So I speak Russian. I had a brother-in-law who did a similar mission in Poland. So he speaks Polish. And so when we saw this flood of Russian speaking Ukrainian people going into Poland, we thought, well, maybe with our two languages, even though they're 30 years in the past and not very polished, maybe we can go and just help communicate, right? Like we didn't know what we were going to do. My wife is the
Sure.
one who's more impulsive. I kept saying, well, we got to find someone who's doing something, or find an organization, or find someone who we can get in touch with. And Mindy says, we got to buy a ticket and go. We'll find people when we're there. so
So
that was
what I'm
kind of our
hearing is you
background.
all said, I have no qualifications, but I got to help.
That is exactly it.
I think that's where we all are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like nobody appointed me to do my YouTube channel, right? I just want to help. So same thing. So all right, well,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for giving that. Any particular stories that you want to communicate? We have another somebody that we want to highlight as well. Anything that you want to leave behind with the audience?
Well, maybe we're teamed up right now, but we also kind of do different focuses, and maybe something that we'll leave as a story. When we first started doing this, we were trying to help what we would consider large groups. There were refugee centers that would have
Mhm.
150 to 500 people living in the same place. It maybe an abandoned shopping mall or an abandoned hospital or something like that. And so we were trying to help large groups. We would come over and we would bring 500 pairs of socks, and we'd go to the store and we'd buy 100 rolls of toilet paper or something like that. Trying to help large groups in pockets. Now that people have gone back, it's a lot more trying to help smaller people, smaller groups. And so one of the families that we met today, they that she is now a single mom. She has two children. Her husband was a helicopter pilot in the army and was shot down 3 years ago. They couldn't find his body for 2 years, so for 2 years she wasn't receiving death benefits. Here's
Mm.
somebody who they didn't ask for war, they didn't want for war. He wasn't a helicopter pilot training to go attack someone else. It was all about defense. And
Mhm.
now we've got people had I been born in Ukraine, that could have been me. So why should it be any different? Why should I look at that any different? And now it's trying to help smaller groups, smaller pockets. But when we're helping smaller groups, we've got to try to do a better job of reaching out and finding in some ways it's easier to help 150 people who are in the same place than trying to help three people in one place and four people in another place and five people in another place.
Mhm.
But that's the reality of the way things work is small groups.
Yeah, and what I would add to that is we've all kind of progressed to this point of we want to get things to the people who need it most, and we all have so many contacts here
Yeah.
now that we feel we can do that. So when people back home are looking to us and want to support what we're doing, they have a lot of confidence that we're actually going out there, boots on the ground, getting to the smaller villages, the smaller places, individual households, And, whatever they give us, we're stretching that and making things happen on the ground. And
Yeah.
we've just got those abilities now.
Well,
Maybe.
we'll have the link to all three organizations.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for your time and what you're doing. And as Frederick has said, we're going to have a little delay before this video goes out just to make sure
Appreciate it.
that
Sounds
we're
great.
all
Thank you.
OPSEC.
Yeah.
So we'll get to Jeffrey in just a moment. But thank you so much for all that you're doing. And we'll have the links below if anybody's interested and touched and moved by this, so that they can get a hold of you. Frederick, who else do we? Thank you all. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for helping promote awareness. We appreciate it.
We really appreciate this. Thank you.
Take
Okay,
care.
Frederick, who we have next?
Well, also, so right now, those volunteers that we just heard from, they're on the ground right now in Ukraine. And then another volunteer that I have worked with, if I can manage my spotlights here, Jeff, also from Oregon, the same as me, he is about to head over to Ukraine in the coming days. And I wanted to give him the opportunity to talk about his nonprofit organization that he founded ad hoc for helping Ukrainian civilians with this war. It's Razom Sestra, Razom Brat. And remind me, Jeff, does that mean together sister, together brother?
Yeah, exactly, in Ukrainian.
And could you share with us a little bit about your nonprofit organization and your plans? You're about to go over to Ukraine here in the coming days?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll give a little background. When everything started, I joined NAFO. I'm a member of NAFO, donate where I could and everything. But I felt kind of a bond with the people. There you go. With the people that spoke before, you get this desire to do more. You want to do more. So I founded my organization. My day job, so to speak, is I own a tax office. So January through April, I work 7 days a week. This time of year, I work a lot less. So it gives me the opportunity. This will be my second trip this off season. I was over there in May and June. And my organization, the first project we did was a children's center in a village outside of Kharkiv that had been under occupation. A lot of it was destroyed. We refurbished it, got that set up and run. And unfortunately, they still need to be offline a lot, being northeast of Kharkiv, and don't get to use the center that much. But in the meantime, I hooked up with another group called Renegade Relief Foundation, and they had started small and it had gotten bigger, and they needed help with finances and stuff because the person was leaving. I came over as CFO, and it was a really great opportunity. It's opened up a lot of different things. And then through my tax business too, I met clients that have been able to help out, like with Sam Medical, really quality medical products. They have an office close to mine. They've given me a discount. I'll be taking 12 of the junctional tourniquets over, which are expensive, but with the discount and are really in need. The last time we went over, we took some to units out in near Kramatorsk, and like the medic from one of the units, he's like, "Oh, yeah," he's so excited, and he's showing the other people in the unit, and he said he hadn't seen one since training.
Oh, wow.
So it's something there's always a need for. And then on the humanitarian side as well, we partner with groups that serve the IDPs, Kharkiv humanitarian areas around Kharkiv and down south too. And this last trip, one of the most, you asked about something that's really impactful. I went on a delivery of aid and a few toys and stuff to a special needs orphanage between Cherkasky and Bilasirka, and met these two girls that they had lived with their mother in Shasov Yar. Their mother had been killed, so they're now in the center. And one of the girls was she'd gone through an understandable phase of being argumentative, that, hard to deal with and everything like that. So I didn't get to interact with her as much, but one of the other girls, Nadia, just, and I don't speak much Ukrainian at all. I'm learning, she didn't speak much English, but we kind of did this. We kind of bonded there, just sitting there. I give her a little toy Barbie mermaid, and just the experience and just thinking, like, if people at home could understand, this could be your person, your relative, your friend, your neighbor. Someone asked me, like, why do you go over to Ukraine and do this? Why is it when it's so far away? And I asked him, okay, where's close enough? If it was California, is that close enough? And I said, this is Ukraine, these front areas, these areas I go to. These are my red lines. These are the places where I can't just sit back and say, I can't do this, and just being there. What shook me most, because you see all sorts of things. You see good, bad, you see destruction, but what touches me the most is the people, and how much I just like the people and like being there. It's you get out, and when I leave, it's not like I'm going home. It's like I'm leaving home but going home. It's leaps and bounds, the most rewarding work I've ever done personally. And it's seeing the people and seeing what's happening and figuring out what I can do to help. It's the bottom.
I understand. That resonates 100%. So you run a tax office and you're doing these things, and you had no previous experience doing these kinds of things?
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we all are.
It's an entirely different world from taxes.
And it doesn't matter where you are in your place, whether you're informing yourself so you can help others understand, whether you're giving money so that you can support organizations, whether you're going, as long as you're finding that place where you can be useful. That's what it is. And all these people, and Fred, I want to bring you back into this as well, because Fred was there. How many times have you been to Ukraine now and doing this?
Again, I spent the previous 3 summers, so not this current summer 2025, but the previous 3 summers since the start of the full-scale invasion starting in 2022. So just 3 trips to Europe.
Right. And part of your focus was because your professional life dealing with the deaf, right? I mean, that's part of what your focus was. So it can be really niche, whatever it is that you're doing, as long as you're finding that place where you can do it. So here are 3 different organizations that we're highlighting that are doing good, that had no background. No, like what business do you have doing this? I don't. I just care. And this is the point. People care. And if you care and you want to be part of that, find an organization. It could be these. It could be like I put in every video since I started Samaritan's Purse, right? Because I knew Samaritan's Purse was going to be doing a good job there. And later I put United 24. I started working with Greg Terry, and that's where I put my attention and my focus. But I want to highlight others. When Jake Bro has $1 million campaign, I'm showing you that so that you know, like, hey, this is good work being done. Here are other people that are doing it. But I want you to be encouraged by ordinary people that are doing just great work, doing what they can here to be helpful. Jeffrey, do you have any last things that you want to share with us before we are done?
Just everyone should be awareness. The awareness is really important. It's learning, thinking about what's going on, following people, because if you try to get your Ukraine news from the nightly news, you're not going to hear anything. I get clients that come in and say, "Oh, is that still going on?" Mm-hmm. So Professor Gerdes is great. There's other great people out there that are giving real information, very often in real time or close, and covering what's probably the most important geopolitical event of the last 80 years.
Yep.
But is an afterthought on the nightly news, if that.
Yep.
So stay informed, ask questions, be involved. Heck, go to Ukraine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to have any professional expertise in order to
Yeah.
do the kinds of things that these people are doing. Fred, I'll give you the last word since you were the chief instigator and coordinator of this thing.
Well, actually, I was going to throw it back to you and give you the last word because I know your outro line.
I already said you're it.
Right. Well, I know your outro line tends to be thank you for being the kind of person that cares for Ukraine. My outro line is stand for freedom, stand with Ukraine.